This is Evolve Your Health Beyond the Bench, a podcast dedicated to everything fitness, health and adventure. This is your time to evolve. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Welcome. Boxing. How did it all start?
It started nearly 13 years ago for us now. Maybe it's not quite as long. I lost my mum coming up 13 years. Always been at the gym, always been fit, loved health, fitness and watched boxing on the telly, and then they were just starting the charity events for cancer research. I lost my mum to breast cancer, so I was moping about, not wanting to do this, not wanting to get out of bed, which was not like me at all. Seen somebody else had done one of the first events and thought, right, I'm going to get me arse into gear for more, better word, and signed up for it, went for the meeting, and then just never looked back. Once I started the training, it was just totally, absolutely loved it.
Right, so that was one of the white collar events. How old were you when you done that?
26.
Right, so quite late start really, or did you have like any kind of amateur background before? Had you boxed before, boxercise, anything like that?
I've done a couple of the boxercise classes. Like I say, I was always in the gym, but no, it's something that I've always watched on the telly thinking, oh, I would love to do something like that, but until obviously that time in my life, I've never given it a second thought, and that's where my amateur career came after that. So we signed up for the event, 8 weeks free training, get in the ring at the end, get matched up, head guards, big 16-ounce gloves, absolutely loved it. Just didn't want it to stop, so then I went down the unlicensed type of thing, which was the next step. So we gave that a go, find it harder and harder to get matched. And then one of the coaches that was helping us at the time, Neil Martin, was an amateur coach. He said, would you not consider giving the amateurs a try? And that was my first thought in my head was, well, am I not too old? Because like you said, 26, it is late to start something, but I was fit enough, and I thought I was too old to give the amateurs a go, and I didn't think I was good enough, to be honest. And if it wasn't for Neil, I wouldn't be here.
Little bit of imposter syndrome, I suppose, eh?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So, like 26, you're relatively a young lass in the bigger picture, but in the boxing world, in any sports world, I mean, you've got professional footballers have retired at that age.
Yeah.
So, who were the people around you kind of stepping into the amateur world? Were you one of the older ones? Was it quite mixed up?
In the females, I mean, there wasn't a massive pool anyway. I was taken on, but there was girls my age as well. So once you get into the competitions and you see the people around you, the people in your categories, yeah, a lot of them were younger than me. I will admit that, but I haven't got the wear and tear on my body that them girls have if they've started at a younger age. I used to swim competitively when I was younger, and I used to play football. And in the back of my mind was, I never pursued them. I should have pursued my swimming, and I could have probably been in the Olympics. I was getting national times. It was the training and getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning to train before work, before school, and I just had enough of waiting around all day in the galas, because you were guaranteed you would be swimming in the morning, you would have one after dinner, and then you would have one at the end of the day, so you were there all day, and I just had enough of that. Played football, got picked up for Newcastle Ladies, never went, just started working.
Really? What were you working as at the time, like, so kind of early adulthood?
At the time I was at the swimming baths, I was lifeguarding and swimming teacher, so the shifts and the timings, and then working weekends as well, like couldn't commit to the training really, so...
It's the joys of the leisure industry, isn't it? You end up working when everybody else is off, unfortunately. So.
Definitely.
So rewinding back again to going into the gym for the first time for boxing. So you're going through a bit of a bad headspace, it's fair to say. Was it off the cuff that you signed up? Was there a bit of a thought process? How did you feel stepping into the gym for the first time, thinking, as a lass, you're potentially going to get punched in the face? How did that feel for day one?
Day one, obviously you have a meeting where everybody's in the same boat, you all go. There was loads of people, and the guy at the time, Paul, said, if you look around the gym, all these people that are here today will not be here. And you go away and think, is this what you want to do? It'll probably be one of the best things you do if you do it. And a lot of people, when you get chatting, are in the same boat. They've either lost somebody to cancer, they know somebody who who's had cancer, who's battling it. So we signed the dotted line. We turned up for the first training session, and it was, I don't know, it was just something that I'd never, massively out of my comfort zone. Everybody was in the same boat, so we just carried each other through it and learned as we went on.
So you walk in the gym for the first time, everyone's in the same boat, and then the camaraderie, I suppose, gets built. There's a friendship or a bond, I suppose, created with people that you're experiencing the same thing as week on, week out. And then 8 weeks training.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Come the end of that, you then get in the ring and punch each other in the face, in effect. So did you go back and do another charity event after, or from there did you kind of think, I want to step up and look at bigger things?
I did two charity events, and then, as I mentioned earlier, it was getting harder to get matched, and obviously it's not fair if somebody's signing up for it, but there was a lot of people did more than one, and it's not fair me getting matched when I've had 16 weeks worth of training and they've just had the 8. So
I think that's the thing with white collar, isn't it? It's split it down. It's a charity event.
yeah,
A lot of people are there for the right reasons.
yeah.
Do you think it's fair to say that a lot of people are also there for the wrong reasons? Maybe they haven't got the confidence or the ability to look at professional amateur, but they want to throw the weight about a little bit. Did you ever come across anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. And with the unlicensed scene, as I went on to progress from the charity events, there was a lot of people who'd been in the amateurs who'd come back, or they didn't want to spar if they could get roughed up. They only wanted to spar certain people and stuff like that. And
Cherry picking.
And I think
it's a form of bullying, isn't it?
Mm-hmm,
I suppose.
yeah. But I mean, I wouldn't be here without the background of the boxing and doing the charity and going on to the unlicensed, because that's where I thought my path led, and that's the only thing that I thought until the amateurs were mentioned to us. But it is when you take a step back and look from the outside in, it's quite a dangerous setup to be fair.
But people have been killed doing it, haven't they?
There's a lad just lost his life sadly last week over in Belfast he went for the Celtic title, ended up in hospital. And
was that charity or unlicensed?
That was professional, so
it
shows you how dangerous, when all the medical procedures are in place, when you've got the right people around you, things can still go wrong.
Yeah.
And that just gives you an insight into how dangerous the sport is. It's not just about getting in the ring and punching people in the face. It's a lot of down to your coaches as well, whether they can watch you get a good hiding, or whether they're going to throw the towel in, or whether they're going to say, right, I'm going to give you a couple of seconds of this round. If you don't pull it round, you're coming out. There's a lot of aspects of the sport, but it is a really, really dangerous sport. And
absolutely, yeah.
The unlicensed scene hasn't got what the professional scene is. I mean, it's all expense as a professional, but it's there for a reason.
Yeah, and I think there's probably a degree as well of sports being what it is. The boxer having the mindset of, I'm okay, I'll continue.
Yeah.
And the coach thinking, well, do I let them continue and progress? Do I potentially spoil the career by pulling them short? Or do I safeguard the physical health and, like you say, throw the towel in? And there's people who sit both sides of the fence on that,
Yeah.
isn't there? Did that change much when you look in reflection to the charity and the unlicensed stuff into the amateurs and then up into kind of the professional ranks as well?
The medical side of it.
Yeah, the safeguarding, the procedures,
yeah.
the full picture, really.
Yeah, I mean, going from unlicensed, you get a medical on the day, and it's check your teeth, check your hands. Are you all right? Yes. Then right, you're ready to go. Do your blood pressure as well. Sorry. Other than that, you're ready to fight. Unless you've got an arm hanging off or something like that, they're gonna let you fight. Going into the amateurs, you need a medical, which you get off a professional doctor. You get a medical card. You get medical every fight, every tournament. And there's a doctor on scene, there's ambulances on scene. I mean, there is in the unlicensed, but it's just a little bit more in the amateurs. And then going into the professional ranks, obviously, you a lot more rounds, a lot more time in the gym, totally different training. You go from getting medicaled every year, you get a brain scan every year, eye tested, and then there's a doctor on scene before you fight as well that checks everything.
Who pays for that?
It's down to the boxer, unfortunately, unless you can get sponsors or it's...
Okay, so you know, in professional world, you're a professional sports person and an elite athlete. What would you say to anybody that's up and coming in terms of what you would say kind of entry-level professional sport to high-level elite? Because there's, especially in the boxing world, there's a massive divide, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think there always will be, because the thing that any sport or anything, just the day and age that we're living in at the minute, is money. Just because you've got professional boxer or professional athlete in front of your name doesn't mean you get paid for what you do. There's lots of different aspects of it. Obviously, I've paid for everything myself so far. Last year I got a lot of help, got a new team, got a couple of sponsors on board that's helped us out massively. But before that, I've tried to do everything myself, and it's just not an option anymore. I cannot do it. I'm working full time, and the money I'm spending on it and just not making anything out of it. But I love the sport. But anybody wanting into it, and you're not born with a silver spoon in your mouth, and you haven't got a massive pedigree behind you, just look into it before you do, because it's an expensive sport, and if you can't sell tickets, then a lot of promoters aren't interested in you. If you can't make the money, if you can't sell tickets, then it's really banging your head against a brick wall. And the disappointment after training days on end, doing camps for your fight not to happen because you can't sell tickets, your opponent's pulled out. There's loads of different aspects. I've had loads of heartache over it. A lot of people probably would have stopped there and then, but I don't know what it is. I just love doing what I'm doing. I'm not in it for the money. If I was, I would have stopped a long time ago. So yeah, just look into every aspect of the sport before you actually jump into it, because it's a lot different to the amateurs.
So you've mentioned there selling your tickets, so I would assume, or some people might assume, that I want to come and watch your box at the weekend, jump on Ticketmaster, I buy a ticket, I turn up at the door, and I have a great night out full of entertainment. Whatever revenue's generated from that pays the boxers, pays the staff. Is that the case, or?
No, especially on the small hall shows, it's but saying that, it's still, they're still expected to sell tickets on the events that's on the telly, the zone fighters, the ones that's on the undercards. They're still on ticket deals. You still got to sell the tickets, and if you don't sell enough, they don't hesitate just to say, right, well, you're off the show. No matter if you've done a full camp or anything like that, it's the home boxers sell the tickets. So if you're a home fighter, then you've got a book of tickets that you need to get rid of, and there'll be a minimum and not a maximum, but there'll be a minimum that you've got to get shot of to cover your opponent's costs. So if you buy off Ticketmaster or a ticket, I honestly don't know. That'll probably go straight to the promoter. I'm not 100%, but what the boxers get, you give in on the day of the weigh-in, and I've put money in the box before out of my own pocket because I haven't sold enough tickets.
Obviously, I understand the logistics of it with working in the industry, I suppose, but for anybody that's listening that doesn't really understand, or this is a bit of an eye-opener to them. So what you mean is the boxers, the athletes, have got a responsibility to fill the show out?
Yeah, definitely. That's what brings the money in and pays for the opponents. Unfortunately, it's worse than the training. It's the bit that I find the hardest in selling the tickets. Hate asking people for money because it's always like £50-60 a ticket. It's
probably the same people as well.
Yes,
same friends, same family.
Same circle of people who you're asking. I don't like asking for money off people. It's the hard-earned cash, and the way the world is at the minute, people are struggling. And then there's me. Oh, are you going to buy a ticket for my fight? I hate doing it, and it's the worst part of the sport.
And some of the time for you not to be fighting, I suppose, as well. So there's that element of it. So I suppose mentally quite exhausting, really, isn't it? There's the fact you've got to get up early in the morning, do some training and push your body to the limits. Eat right, which I suppose comes with an expense. And then the other bits and pieces that go with it to stand in the ring and get punched. So what's the drive? Why keep doing it?
To be honest with you, I just love it. And to get a fight date, that boosts my motivation. I mean, I don't need told to go to the gym. I don't need told to train. I'm there anyway. I love it, like I said earlier. But I don't know. It's just the urge of wanting to do it. It's legacy. We're here for a short time, and we're here once. And I just want to achieve everything in the short time that I am here, and in the short time that I've got left in the sport, to achieve the best I can. But money does hold you back, and getting fights and selling the tickets, the right people don't seem to get the right help, if that makes sense.
If anybody was watching this that's in a position to be a sponsor, why should they sponsor you?
like I said just before, that I don't have to be told to train. I absolutely love the sport. I'd live in the gym if I could, but unfortunately I've got a full-time job. I'm trying to do this full-time, and sponsorship would mean the world to us. That means that I get that extra bit of help. I could reduce my hours at work, concentrate on it more, and hopefully I'm looking at titles at the end of the year. If I can have a busy year, then I'm happy with it. It also gets your business out on shows, televised shows. I mean, I fought in Belfast on the Frank Warren undercard, so I do get about a little bit. But and obviously all of my sponsors get mentioned, and social media, which is massive at the minute. So
Is there
yeah.
anywhere people can have a look at you? Have you got an Instagram page or a Facebook page or anything for your boxing?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram, just under Kerry Haley. If you search for us on there, I should come up. I'm on Box Rec, and that's about it, I think.
You mentioned that you juggle this with a full-time job. What is it you do?
I'm in the prison service. I work a disciplined staff in the prison service, which is not really an easy job. I wouldn't have said, with the shifts and everything and what you deal with. And we touched on mental health earlier. It's the boxing's really hard mentally when you're training and you're getting told you're not fighting, or you get offered fights and then they fall through, and you're training your arse off, basically. Also doing shifts from 6 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. Night shift, 7 days on, 7 nights on, 77-hour week, and juggling your training around that as well. It's tough. I'm walking around like a zombie half the time. And
Prison service and boxing, I suppose people will be forgiven for thinking both are quite a violent world, if you want to say that. Does that give you a link in, do you think? Do you tend to get on with the people that you work around because of your sport? Is there an interest there? Does it give you, I suppose, a command of respect, a story to talk about? Or
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of lads in the prison who do recognise us. Obviously, I'm not familiar with them, but they've been to events when I've fought on. They've got friends who are in the industry, and some of them are in professional boxers themselves that end up in the prison system. So yeah, I've never really had any problems in the prison because of it. And like you say, it's more of a respect thing, and it is something to talk about. Yeah, there was a kid the other day recognised us. That's as if I was still boxing, and we had a little chat about that. And it does gain you that respect, and you're treating them like an actual person than just a prisoner. So yeah, definitely. Yeah.
how old are you now, and where do you see yourself in the next? You mentioned there was a fight planned for the end of the year.
I'm 37 at the minute, so I'll be 38 in June. I've just getting a fight date for March the 29th, so I'm concentrating on that now, picking my training up. I need a couple more fights under my belt, and then we're going to look for titles. I did get offered a British title fight, but unfortunately I'm away, which is typical, because fights are few and far between. And then I've never been anywhere on a summer holiday for about 5 years now, since probably before COVID. And then I get offered a fight when I've finally thought, right, we're going on a snowboarding holiday, booked it all, signed, sealed, and then, oh, we've got a fight for you here. I can't do it.
Another kick in the side.
The thing is, it's a balance of keeping your family life. Obviously, I've got a partner, he works full time as well. We've got 2 dogs, and with my shifts, we're already like passing ships. So it's like, it's something that I need to take a little bit of time out for family time, which is another thing that gets neglected. I mean, my other half's really understanding, but we do end up bickering about it, and you never hear, we're like passing ships, we need to go here. So
just punch him in the face. Don't really. We'll scrub that bit out. And if you could change anything, so working times, more fights, easier ties in with promoters, anything at all which would make your life a better place to be, what would it be?
I would love to do it full time and just concentrate on boxing for the short. I've maybe got, like I said, I'm coming up 38. I've maybe got another 2-3 year, maybe 4 to push at the sport. So I would love to just give it 100%. Get fights, take fights in the away corner. I know it's not ideal because you're going in a 60-40 fight, but I would love to be able to just say, oh, I can't because I'm working, or I need to check with work whether I can have the fight. And work's pretty understanding with the boxing.
I was going to say that's probably a one to bring up. Obviously, do you work for, because the prison service is split now, isn't it? So do you work for like kind of government or the private sector?
Government, HMP.
And are they quite supportive? Do they do anything to support you? Do they give you any time in the gym during the day, or
Not that aspect. As long as I do my shifts, they've given us permission to do it, which is massive. But it's like, if I can do my job, do that, then they're fine with it. Don't come in, bust up, don't.
And what if you do? Because inevitably you're not in control of that bit, are you really?
Well, that's the thing. Luckily, I haven't gone in with bust up face as of yet, but not to say I won't. So I just have to overcome that as it goes on. The team I'm with, I'm fighting, training at Spennymoor at the minute with Brian Robinson, who's done his professional. I've been pushed on him really, and he's done all his professional coaching along with Peter. So just a massive thank you to them, because I've got a team around us who believe in us more than probably I do myself. I'm just grateful for the sponsors who've jumped on board the last year. I do all my nutrition myself, all my training plans, everything. I was doing a little bit with Gym Unique leading up to my last fight, the strength and conditioning, but everything, like I say, is expense, and everything that comes out of my pocket, sometimes I just can't afford everything. So I just do it myself, which is obviously the hard way, and other people's knowledge is welcome and helpful.
Thanks very much.
Thank you for having us on.
I hope that you've enjoyed this episode of Evolve Your Health Beyond the Bench. Please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. It really makes a big difference, and it means that you don't miss out on any of the other great guests we've got coming up. You can also watch our gym reviews and get other health and fitness related tips right here on this channel.